All right, next up for Shark Week, we have The Last Shark, which also was called a ton of other titles, one of which was Son Jaws. I think they meant Son of Jaws, but they did get sued by the people who own Jaws, and they won. So this movie had to be pulled because of its similarities. I will say this. So the writer of Jaws, Peter Benchley, uh, has an homage here. The main character of this movie is Peter Benton. I thought that was pretty funny when I saw it. I was like, oh, wow. I mean, at least they're wearing their homages on their sleeves. Now, there's similarities. I mean, there's a good amount of them, absolutely no doubt. I just find it interesting that certain movies get pegged for this, like Lockout or Beyond the Door, or there's just certain movies that get sued for plagiarism. And I feel like the 70s, especially 70s and some of the 80s, were just rampant with these knockoff exploitation films that were aping more successful movies like Mad Max. I mean, look at the the exploitation films that we got in that time, trying to emulate the success of the post-apocalyptic car chase type movies. Now, as I said, this movie definitely borrows pretty heavily from it. It's just funny. I don't know. I get it for sure. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, The Last Shark, this like low budget, shitty ass movie, is really gonna be stealing X amount. This is 1981. I'm curious on when this was actually released. This is, if that's true, if it is 81, like IMDb says it is, 6 years after Jaws, this thing comes out and gets sued. Is that just Peter Benchley trying to get his money? Was it the company who owned Jaws, the movie rights, Universal, right? Them? I don't know. But 6 years after Jaws, I don't know if they're really taking all that much from him, and no one even knows what the hell this movie is. So I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about all of that. You shouldn't steal people's work, but there's so many knockoff movies in the world. It just seems interesting that some get attacked and most don't. So I don't know. I don't know if it just came under the radar or it was starting to make some money, so they were like, oh, well, there we go. We want some of that money. And the movies who don't make any money, they don't want their money. Because I know the Beyond the Door movie was very much like The Exorcist, like very, very much, and they got sued and they won. And Lockout is extremely similar to Escape from New York, except for in space, and that got sued and won. And maybe it's just a money thing. Like, I know it's about money, obviously, but what I'm saying is, like, maybe it's how much money it's making, and then they're like, okay, that's worth our time. Let's go after it. So I don't know. Maybe this had some box office success to it. But anyway, all right, let's talk about the movie itself. As I said, we got Peter Benton here. Little nod to Peter Benchley, the writer of Jaws. There are some amazing, like, launching scenes in this movie. We get a couple of them, and it's just like standing straight up mannequins being like air blasted up into the sky, and they just come right up and right back down, and it's hilarious. And they actually show one of them in slow-mo, like maybe 10 minutes after the scene already happened. It's funny when movies will replay you a scene that you just saw 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. You're like, yeah, I remember that. I'm not sure why the hell I need to see it right now. So one thing I really liked about this movie was the music. Although it can be repetitive, I did like the one or two songs that they actually played throughout the movie. I felt them to be kind of tension-inducing and kind of eerie. So yeah, I dug that. I also liked the look of the shark. I At times the shark looked a little faker than the ones in Jaws, but at the same time I felt like there was a lot of scenes where it very much looked like the shark in Jaws. So I dug the look of that. We also have the balloon getting caught on it. It's a buoy. It looks like a balloon. It's caught on its back after it comes through the net that they put across the little cove there, trying to lull people into a false sense of security that they've secured the area with this net through the water that a shark can't get through, and this thing just bursts through it no problem, and it drags behind it this red buoy which looks like a balloon, and of course that looks like the barrels in Jaws, and he can't take three down or whatever. We got this one, and it just kind of reminds the audience, or lets the audience know where this shark is, because that's one of the tough things about shark movies is you have very little options on how to show the shark in the water when you're limited to a budget like this, and you're also limited to the time period. Even if nowadays you might hate the CGI that they have, but some of it is much better than others, obviously. But even in the shittiest of sci-fi originals or whatever, these terrible shark movies that they put out, they do have the option of CGI to show them in the water and whatnot. But in these movies, they either had to use, and they use this in this movie a good amount, stock footage of B-roll of just real sharks in the water, which look absolutely nothing like the shark that actually pops up out of the water. Then you've got miniatures in this movie, which are like little toys, and they look like almost like dolphins at times. And when the death of the fucking shark in this movie is hilarious because it just breaks apart like two little pieces. It's fucking funny as hell looking. It's just like a toy with like a little M80 in it and just blows up, and it's really funny. It just the head pops off like a capsule or something. It's really funny. So you got those two options, and then you've got the head, the shark popping out its head up out of the water, and that's about it. Because aerial shots of the shark swimming in the water and whatnot, you can't really do that much in these kinds of movies, because the shark itself wouldn't be able to be shot like that. A lot of it is just the head or some of the body, and it moving and swimming through the water. I mean, it just can't have that movement. So you're limited a lot in these kinds of movies. But this movie really incorporates a lot of footage of real sharks in the water, which just, as I said, don't match up at all, and were pretty laughable throughout. Not sure why there's a lot of people in this movie who are on land and keep running from, like, if you think there's sharks there and you're so afraid of them coming at you on land somehow, why are you even standing there? What the hell's going on there? So you need to just not even be down by the water. But it's just funny. There's a few times in this movie where people are just down there like, and they just start running. And it's like, you're on land. You're okay. You're going to be just fine. What is exactly you think's going to happen here? There's a moment in the movie where the propeller cuts up the back of the shark, and I thought that was going to play into the movie somehow, and it just didn't. And I was really confused. I was like, and I don't even remember the thing having a cut on its body after they even showed this propeller cutting the shark up, and it didn't even seem like it was hurting it. It just kind of felt thrown in there, and not for really any reason. And then we've got the sheriff. We've got the Sheriff Brody character. We've got the Quint character, which the guy who's playing Quint in this is just straight up not even trying to be anything but. It is a full-blown impersonation of Quint. of Robert Shaw. It's fucking hilarious. It's like, really, dude? You're not even gonna try to make this your own? Nothing at all. Pretty funny. But then the main character's kid gets her leg bit off, and the way she falls in the water, the way everything in this movie happens, is just so laughably stupid. But that's the way you watch these kinds of movies. Now, there are some fun sequences. I think every time the shark, and they do a lot of shark stuff in here, but anytime the shark's like popping its head out of the water, or it's eating people, that kind of stuff, it's fun. The rest of the movie is fairly boring. So overall, I was mostly bored with the movie, but there are some really really good movies in this. There's some really good moments in this movie. Man, if you can tell, I'm just like fighting back, fucking yawning this entire time. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. And the best scene in the whole movie by far. Let's just get to this and we'll end it here. This might be my last shark movie for Shark Week, to be honest. So this might literally be the last shark. Not sure what that title even means. The last shark. I don't understand the title. What is it? It's not the last shark on Earth. It's not. I don't know. Anyway, but the best sequence in this whole movie. You're gonna watch anything in this movie. You can YouTube the clip. I'm sure is the guy who's running for like governor. He's gonna go out and kill the shark himself, I guess, and he goes out and he gets a helicopter. The whole helicopter versus shark sequence, and they should, him getting pulled off of the helicopter, and then the shark attacking the helicopter, like in Jaws 2, just hilarious. The whole thing is absolutely hilarious. And then we've even got a John McClane moment here, where the guy comes down, and after everything's done, because the media in this, the reporters in this, they stage an attack. Like on purpose, they actually hook meat up to the dock or whatever so that the shark will come and yank the people, and then they're going to get some really good footage of it and whatnot. These guys need to go to prison for sure. So he comes down and he just punches the guy in the face when he wants his interview there. And it's like, a punch on the face? This guy deserves a freaking, a prison sentence for what the hell he did. So premeditated manslaughter, I guess. I don't know what the actual, definition of what they did was, but something wrong. Something. Got to go to jail for something. Good amount of slow-mo in these sequences, which is unnecessary. And yeah, I mean, overall, it's whatever. The freaking shark pulls an entire dock away, and all these people are out there on the dock. That would be scary for sure. I wish this would have been more fun. It's fine. It's a fine watch at times. As I said, you can fast forward to the shark scenes, and you'll be much better for it. But anyways, I don't know. I thought about doing the Meg. I can't get myself to watch any of these stupid ass shark movies, like in purposely stupid ass shark movies. Sharktopus, Sharks in Venice, Shark Exorcist, House Shark, fucking 3-headed shark attack, 4-headed shark attack, 5-headed. I think it started at 2-headed and now it's up at like 6 heads. Like every time they make a new one, there's another fucking head on the thing. Santa Jaws, and I know of all of them. I know of their existence. I was even looking at one when I was at Walmart like an hour ago. Nightmare Shark or something. There's a whole slew of these fucking things. Although I will say, I refuse to review House Shark after what the director said to the Bloodbath and Beyond guys. If you haven't seen that, check it out. It's fucking nuts, man. This guy went absolutely apeshit on them for giving a less than stellar review to his movie. And it's like, if you're going to make trashy cinema, if you're going to make movies at all, expect people to trash them no matter how fucking good they are. I guarantee if you looked on here, you could find a bad review for Shawshank Redemption, Godfather, whatever you think is, Citizen Kane, whatever you think is like a definitive masterpiece, and there's no way anyone could ever say a bad word about it. Bullshit. There's always people who could fucking trash any movie. It's your opinion. So of course. And so these guys, they gave their damn opinion on this House Shark movie, and Rob Bonk, the director, went and he just wrote this wall of text attacking them personally, their physical attributes and everything about them and all this. It's like, wow, dude, that is not cool. That is not the way to go. They take it as a personal attack, so then they have to lob personal attacks back. And it's like, this isn't a personal attack. I know that you feel that the movie is personal to you because it's your personal experience, it's your personal art and all this and that, but art is subjective. You're going to have people who hate it, you're going to have people that love it. And so for Teddy Brown, in case he's watching this, I know you recommended me to do that. I don't know if I told you or not. Not doing it. No fucking way. Guy does not deserve his movie to be talked about. That's some bullshit. If I even watch it, I'd watch it maybe, but I am not gonna support a movie with a director with that fragile of an ego. I deal with enough of that around me every day, fragile egos and shit. So it's bad business, man. Don't do that. Don't alienate your base. So, all right, guys. Adios.